Alright, fucked up the last video, so here we go. I'm going to start again, last time on this one. Alright, last video I talked about some of the neurological issues that I experienced and how it impacted my autonomy and ability to go shooting and to shoot in general. So I'm going to go over the dry fire system that I use to get back in shooting shape and what helped me the most. Now, what I had been doing prior to this was just dry firing, like hours on end, dry fire practice, but I wasn't seeing the results that I wanted to. I'd go to the range and I would still be all over the place. And so I wanted something that was going to engage multiple senses. Just using my clinical skill set, my field of work, I wanted to engage visual, auditory, as well as, tactile and be mindful of the hand. So I got on Amazon. I was originally just looking for a laser cartridge. Knowing that wasn't going to be it, but there were some free apps that you could use to see bullet placement, shot placement, whatever, shot placement. So I found this little box here by Strong Tools, and this is the second generation one. And the reason I went with this is you have a large aperture here, or not an aperture, you have a large area right here to initially start hitting with the laser cartridge. So the laser cartridge engages the sensor here, and it gives you a visual cue because it lights up blue, and it also gives you the sound of you're hitting steel, like a ringing sensation or a ringing sound. So the other reason I went with this is as you start gaining skill, you have these little plastic apertures that pop in that close the window, so you have to hit a smaller area, a smaller target. So that worked tremendously. The other thing is with the laser cartridges, the one that was recommended actually wore out pretty quickly. It did have replaceable end caps, but with these, this is a G-Sight, and this style I'm going to highly recommend because the button that engages the laser cartridge that your striker is actually making contact with is replaceable, and these last a lot longer than one that is flat on the end that your striker is going to be hitting or your firing pin and wear out. So the G-Sight, and I have no affiliation with any of these products, the G-Sight style with the replaceable end cap, highly recommended with this. And again, the reason that it is effective and the reason that it was working, in my opinion, is along with physical therapy, you're engaging multiple senses. You have the auditory, you have the visual, and then you have the tactile. Now, doing this after about 2 weeks, my groupings had improved greatly from like a dinner plate to about 50-cent size. So great improvement within groupings. Then about third week, month in doing this, I had realized that I could actually feel my right hand again, and I could feel my left hand pressing in on these fingers on my right hand that I could not feel previously. So I had great improvement. The way I'm going to explain it, if you've made it this far, is that you can watch a movie, and just because you watch the movie and you see a skill set in the movie doesn't mean it's applicable to real life scenarios. So all my previous knowledge on shooting, all my experience was there. It was a memory, but I could no longer access those skills. They were gone. So yeah, I could remember it, and so I would go to shoot knowing that this is how I've always done it. And my eyes, everything, like tactile, the ability to use my hand, my trigger discipline, everything was just fucked. It wasn't there. So I literally had to learn how to shoot a pistol again. Rifle as well. I mean, it wasn't just applicable to pistols, but pistols are more difficult to shoot accurately and proficiently than rifles. With a rifle or a PCC, you have multiple points of contact. So yeah, reloading, still had to work on a crap load with a rifle. But the actual shot placement wasn't as difficult because you have your shoulder, your hand, then you have your support hand, so you have multiple points of contact with a rifle. That wasn't that hard to get back in the swing of things minus reloading. The other thing that I did was buy these little plates that go in your magazine and they cover over the follower. These are made by Rogers, and what they do is they cover over your follower. And so when you do a reload, what I do is keep one mag in here that doesn't have a follower, that doesn't have one of these slide lock bypasses in it. So I lock the slide back, then I can do a reload and just send the slide home just like I would if I was shooting. And so it imitates much more of real life scenarios than having to hit the slide lock every time when you reload. So you can just slingshot, send the slide home, and it works very well. All right, the other thing is using optics. I did switch to using optics instead of iron sights to what it did is, watching a video of me dry firing, that's something else I'm going to recommend, is I would tilt my head because, I became left eye dominant. I would tilt my head to where my left eye only was focusing. And so I was mindful of that, but I was still having issues with it. So I realized using a gun with an optic on it, when I would draw up, I wasn't tilting my head any, and so it started to get both my eyes to work together again. What it also allowed me to do is, when I am having symptoms and more the blindness in the right eye, it does help with quick acquisition without having to focus on a smaller, front sight is going to be smaller than an optic. The Holosuns, by the way, they have the multiple reticle system in it. So if I'm having a great day, I can switch to the tiny dot. If I am having a day where I'm struggling a little bit and I still want to feel protected, I can carry strong hand, or not strong hand, I can carry with my non-dominant hand, which is kind of technically my dominant hand now, and I still have a larger aperture to mitigate the sight issues. Now, I'm going to be honest, on days that I have symptoms like that, I don't carry a gun. There's possibility that something's going to go wrong. I could drop it, I could hurt myself or someone else. And the point is, if you're carrying to potentially defend yourself, but if I go to draw and I drop the firearm, which has gotten like 10,000 times better, I don't drop things nowhere near as often. That was one of the main neurological symptoms, is I couldn't feel the hand. So I would go to holster and, the grip strength wasn't there. I am still significantly weaker on my right side than I am on my left. But I would go to holster, hit the side of the holster, drop the gun, and using the Holosun, it was a cheaper optic than my RMRs, my SROs and shit. So what I did was I got a PSA dagger, threw a Holosun on it, dropped the gun probably 100 times, ended up hooking my buddy up with that gun that I work with for an affordable, reliable gun. I trust that dagger with my life. It was an amazing firearm at an affordable price. I don't work for PSA. In fact, there's a lot of shit I disagree that they do. But they do make a couple products that are the shit. And the dagger, they did a really good job on the dagger with my experience. But again, mileage may vary. But the Holosuns I abused the shit out of. I never cracked one, never broke one. They never even lost zero. I broke, and Vortex replaced them all, but I cracked lenses on a Vortex, 2 lenses on Vortex razors. They're on a MOS Glock. I broke 2 lenses on it, dropping them. I cracked a Viper. My Delta Point has been abused as fuck. It's held up wonderfully. But Vortex and a couple others, I'm not talking shit about the products because they replaced them, but with the amount of instability that I had while learning how to shoot again. And when I say that, I mean I literally had to learn all the fundamentals over again, as well as regaining grip strength. When I say that I abused the optic and the gun, I mean that I dropped it a shitload. Using a mat, using something like that, yeah, possibly. But if I wanted to be outside, actually, training or retraining in an environment that I would normally be in, or inside hardwood floors, I cracked multiple lenses. And again, Vortex replaced them all, which was top notch, and I love Vortex. But the fact that, one reholstering, that would slow down my progress. One reholstering, one wrong hit of an angle would break it. These Holosuns have taken every bit of fucking abuse that I could possibly throw at them, have held zero, and I've, some of them, I have one that looks like utter shit. It is scratched, it's dinged, but it's still 100% functional. So, again, mileage may vary, but these 507Cs for me have been awesome. This is a 19 police trade-in that I actually had milled by Advanced Weapon Technology, strictly for the 507, and I mean, Don Fraley just does great work. So thank you for watching. Hope this helps. You made it to the end. Congrats, because I know this is a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. But again, hopefully this information will help you if you are wanting to improve upon your shooting, or if you're struggling with some medical conditions and you want to train at home and you want to have fun with it. Is also a very fun system to use. Again, I don't know about the Mantis system, never used it. This all, this cost me about $60 total, and I'm probably overpricing that because there was coupons at the time that I used. Right now, I'm pretty sure when I check the prices, $45 for the box and like $20 for the laser cartridge. If you already own the gun, which hopefully you do if you're watching this, then there you go. If you don't, and you're just watching this for like training purposes or dry fire, and you're wanting to like improve upon your skills, the dagger, I highly recommend checking out the PSA dagger for something if you want to get an affordable gun that you can abuse the shit out of, that's going to keep on keeping on. Again, or buy a police trade-in Glock for $300, get it milled. Depends on what you want to do. That's your money. Spend it how you want to. Hope you guys have a great